Hi guys, this is Jonathan with Elevate Wealth, and today we're going to go over a quick start guide for M1 Finance. I wanted to give a quick thank you to Anthony Macco for requesting this video in the comments. Alright, let's jump into the guide. Now the first thing you're going to do is actually scroll down into the description of this video, and you're going to go to the section that says Use My Exact Portfolio. Now it doesn't matter if you already have an account or if you are just signing up for an account now, you're going to use the same process. If you already have an M1 account, you're going to see this button here that says Save to My Account. And if you don't, you're going to see a button that says Invest in this pie. Now go ahead and click that button and it'll take you through the initial sign up process. At this point, I'm going to assume that you've finished the sign up process and you've been able to successfully import the pie. Now, if something went wrong and that's not the case, it's okay. The way we solve it is we go to this edit button right here. We're going to click Add. Then we're going to go over to My Pies. And you're going to see the high yield passive dividend income pie in your unused pies if you didn't do it correctly before. All you're going to do is click that to make sure you add that pie. You'll be back at this page and then you'll click Save. Go ahead and confirm. And now you should see the pie down here. Go ahead and click in that so you can see, and you can click one more time, and you see the different slices or sectors. Now we're going to go over the 4 most used sections of M1 Finance, starting with portfolio. Alright, so this right here represents your pie. Now this just is basically all of the holdings that you have in that particular portfolio. Right here, this is your buy and sell buttons. Go ahead and click that. Now, most times you're just going to have M1 automatically invest for you. If you did ever want to, buy or sell a specific holding, this is where you would enter that order. But I recommend just having M1 auto invest your cash as it comes in. That's going to be, good for 99% of people. Now, this button right here is really important. This is the rebalance button. Now, if you're in a taxable account like my main account, I highly recommend that you do not press the rebalance button. The reason is when you press rebalance, it's going to sell overweight positions and then it's going to use the proceeds from those sales to purchase the underweight positions. Now the problem with this is that you create a taxable event when you sell those securities. It's not something we want to do. It's much better to just, if you want to change your allocations or something like that, just change the allocation. When you deposit new money, it'll automatically go into the underweight positions, effectively doing the same thing as a rebalance, but you're not going to create a taxable event. Now, with that said, if you're in a non-taxable account such as a Roth IRA that grows tax-free, like we see right here, you can press the rebalance button as many times as you want. It doesn't matter because you don't pay tax on any of those gains, and you're not going to have a taxable event when you press the rebalance button. So I would only recommend doing that in a non-taxable account such as a Roth IRA. All right, now edit. If we go ahead and click edit right here, this is where we're able to edit, the allocation of this pie here. If we go in here and we click the slice, we can actually go and see the sectors, and we can actually edit the allocations of these sectors. So say you weren't as comfortable as putting 85% in real estate, you could go ahead and you could lower this if you wanted to, but this is what I've come up with, and this is optimal for me. We'll just go ahead and confirm that. All right, so let's take a look here. This is the value of our account. And this account just started on the 13th here. So you can see the net cash flow. This is how much money was deposited in the account. And this is the market gain here. Moving to the right, we have the gain, which is market gains, and then earned dividends. Another important note, earned dividends. Obviously, there's nothing here. This just started yesterday. But when an earned dividend shows up here, it doesn't mean that you've actually received that dividend. It just means that you've earned it. Received dividends will actually be on a different screen. And then another important point here, the return. Now, normally when a return is quoted, it's actually the time-weighted return. But in M1 Finance, it's actually a money-weighted return. And all that means is that it's it's a more accurate look at your return. It includes cash inflows, cash outflows, and it also includes your dividends. So it's just giving you a much more accurate way to look at your return. It is a little strange though, because not many platforms use it. And then jumping up here, this is just a way to see your returns either all time, or you can see your returns for today, week, month, quarter, or the year. So it's pretty handy. Next up, we have the activity page, and this is basically where all the transactions for your account live. You'll see pending transactions that are going to happen, and you'll see transactions that have already happened. Obviously, since this account was just started, there's really not much going on here. But let's look at this one right here with the investable cash transaction. It was a one-time push in there. So you can see here, shows you the cash here, and then it shows you the trades that it took. Now keep in mind, all of these trades were totally automatic. There was no intervention from me whatsoever. If I had earned some dividends as well, they would show up here, and those dividends would be used to make these trades. You can see here, you'll see the shares that were purchased, and that's another great thing about M1 Finance. You can actually purchase fractional shares. This is really important. It shouldn't be understated. The ability to purchase fractional shares is really awesome. And it's actually one of the things that I'm most excited about with M1 Finance. And the reason for that is because it vastly accelerates your compounding, right? So anytime there's at least $10 in your M1 Finance account, it'll go ahead and it'll go ahead and invest those automatically for you. So it's pretty awesome. And what that does is, instead of having to wait for you to say you wanted to buy a share that was $200. In a normal brokerage account, you're going to have to wait for your cash to get to that level where you can buy that one share. But with this, with as little as $10, that $10 will automatically be invested in all of the different parts of your portfolio according to the allocation of the slice. And then within that slice, it's further divvied up by the allocation of the individual holdings in the slice. Pretty awesome stuff. It's done all automatically, and it really allows you to take those dividends, reinvest those into more shares, and then those more shares will create more dividends for you, and it just creates this really nice compounding that will accelerate the growth of your account. Now this is actually the one that's probably the most self-explanatory, but in the interest of being complete, we'll go over it as well. So first here we have the holding name. So these are just all the different stocks that you own. And then next over here, this is the amount of shares, right? So we can filter here, and we can basically figure out how much or what holdings we have the most shares in, and vice versa. Now obviously, more shares you have, that means the more dividends you're going to get, because every single share has a certain dividend payment. All right, so we want to be able to maximize those over time, and that happens automatically, based on your allocations and your contributions. The average price here is just the average price per share that you have that you've purchased. Your cost basis. So this is basically just your average price per share times the number of shares. Over time, our goal is to keep reducing our cost basis as much as we possibly can. That's always it's always helpful. We always like to get things as cheap as we can. Value. This is just the current value of your holdings. Okay, so it's just the current market price times your shares. And then lastly over here, unrealized gain or loss. This is just the value increase or decrease of your holdings in total. Now the reason it's unrealized is because you haven't sold those holdings yet. When if and when you did sell those, then it would be a realized gain, and then again it would be a taxable event. All right, so the last page we're going to go over is the funding page. So first of all, over here on the left, you're going to see this when you start your account. You're not going to have a bank that's been added. So what we're going to do is we're going to click Add Bank. Now, supposedly you're easily able to connect your different bank account here. I never had any luck with it. I had to do it the manual way. So what I did is I went here, connect using your bank and routing number. I just put my bank name, select if it's checking or savings, routing number, account number. then you press submit, and basically what they do is they send two small amounts to your account. They're in the cent range, so like, I don't know, 14 cents and 18 cents. Those are just random numbers. Once those hit your account in about 1 or 2 days, you'll come back here and you'll click a button. It'll say verify here, and you'll enter those amounts, and that way your bank account will be connected with your M1 account. Okay. Now after that's done, this button right here that says add bank is going to say deposit, and you'll be able to go in and you'll be able to set up a deposit, either a one-time deposit, or you can click a button and it'll automatically deposit every single week. Now I definitely recommend that you get in the habit of depositing and contributing into your account every single week. So what I recommend is just setting it up, whatever's comfortable for you, every single Monday. Just have it hit your account, and it'll automatically be invested if you so choose. So speaking about that, you have a couple options here. You can either auto invest all of my cash. This is what I personally do. I just like it to automatically happen. You can automatically invest your cash over a certain amount. So say you wanted, anytime there was over $200 in your account, you could set it as $200. Anytime there was over $200 in your account, it would automatically invest that, but it wouldn't invest that $200. Lastly, if you wanted full manual control, you can just say don't invest any of my cash. You'll basically make all your own trades. I really don't recommend doing that. That's just, the whole point of this is to be passive and as passive as possible. So don't create more work for yourself. If you have transfers set up, they would be displayed here. Then it would show any recent transfers there. Now, I said I was only going to go over the portfolio activity, holdings, and funding, but I'm actually going to give you one little bonus tip here. It's kind of cool. So we're going to go ahead and click the research right here. Then we're going to go ahead and click My Pies. And if we go in here, we'll be able to click our portfolio here, our big pie. And it's going to give us some important data about our pie. What we really wanted to see is the dividend yield of the whole pie here. So you can see it's at 7.3%. But what's really cool is you can actually go in and you can go into the different sectors, and you can see what the dividend yield is for those particular sectors. So you can see my real estate slice has a dividend yield of 7.7. Telecom has a dividend yield of 5.9. You can kind of just go down the list here, 4.4. So it's just an easy way to see the dividend yield of your entire portfolio, or you can see the dividend yield per individual slice. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out in the comments. And if you found this video useful, go ahead and drop a like. Also, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any episodes of the Dividend Growth Investing series. Well, that's going to do it for this one. Catch you guys in the next video.